Hi, folks. Andrew here. Popcorn and whiskey. I am the face. Who runs the place? That's right. Salute it. Cheers. Here we go. Andrew, why are you here on a Thursday evening? Well, let me tell you. Next couple of days, tomorrow night, Friday evening, I'm not even sure what time I'm going to be getting home, so I can't really prepare anything or commit to any kind of time. And Saturday night, believe it or not, I will probably be watching the MMA fights. Was it Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, whatever her name is, fight on Netflix. It's supposed to start at 8 o'clock Eastern, but I'm sure that fight won't come on until midnight or something like that. So I don't know if I'll be coming on or not during that. So also, this has been on my mind all this week because I binge watched this show last weekend. And oh my word, did I get wrapped up in it in a major, major, major way. The show I'm referring to, the show I got wrapped up in, the show I binge watched, the show I just couldn't get enough of, which is completely unlike me, was this show on Netflix called Age of Attraction, season 1. Oh my God. I'm not saying oh my God in a good or bad way. It's just oh my God, I can't believe I'm even talking about this. If you know me at all, I'm not a big reality show guy. Ones of this ilk, so to speak. That's the right word I'm using there. I don't know, but I went in a dive with this one, man. When I say I binge watched it, I mean I was glued to the television. And then I found out that they had a reunion show afterwards. This is how out of the loop I am. I didn't realize that. And so on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was, I actually watched their, it was a 2-hour reunion show, which really answered a lot of my questions. Now, speaking of questions, as I'm watching this show, I had all kinds of comments myself about it, which I'll get into. And the format of tonight is going to be more of through the eyes of Andrew watching Age of Attraction. Okay. And I'll get into a little bit more details in a few minutes because I want to let people, get people coming on, if who's ever want to come on to see this. And if you have questions, to feel free to come on and chat with me or comment on there. And I'll put up a phone number here in a little bit where you can come on and we can chit chat. Again, Age of Attraction. You know what? Matter of fact, while we're doing this, I don't know if I can put a hashtag up here or not in my, let's see if I put up hashtag Age of Attraction, hashtag reality show. Okay, I'm putting up 2 hashtags on Facebook here because if I really can't type to the Facebook. So there you go. So I'm putting this up. If anybody out there watched Age of Attraction, or if anybody out there was in the show Age of Attraction, give me a holler, give me something. And Teresa, especially Teresa, yeah. I seriously doubt you're watching my show, but man, and I'm going to talk about you in a little bit, probably more in depth than anybody else. So if you're watching this, be ready. I need to take a drink for this one. Hello, here we go. Now, as I'm going through this episode of Popcorn and Whiskey, I am there's no ill towards anybody on the show at all. It's just my opinions based on what I saw. I also, and I'll say this several times throughout this night, the show. I understand the editing has a lot to do with people's perception of the people they're watching. I mean, you can edit anything and make one person be a bad guy, and you can edit a different way and have that same bad guy person be the good guy. Okay, I get it. Understand that. Been on that side of the camera in the low budget era. I studied that in college a little bit. radio and TV broadcasting and stuff. So I understand a little bit more than the regular person. Not a whole lot. I'm not going to say I'm any expert whatsoever, but I do understand that the editing has a lot to do with it, with your perception of the person. Okay. That being said, I also want to say that I do believe everybody on this show had some sort of backstory, had in except there's let me rephrase that. I don't believe anybody was an actual actor or actress or whatever the proper terminology is nowadays. I do believe that everybody was being genuine and authentic as they could be. I mean, how unless you're in it, and I never have been, so I can't say I understand what they're going through. But when a camera's in your face 24/7, I seriously doubt you can be yourself. And that's just my perception of it. There are sprinkles of yourself being thrown out there, but once the camera's always there, it's in the back of your mind. Hey, the camera's here. Now, I have heard on other shows when I listen to the folks in the past, they say that the camera after a few days, it's just part of life. You don't realize it's there. How you cannot is beyond me because the camera's right in your face. But then I say, well, wait a second. I'm doing this show. The camera's on me the whole time I'm doing this. And yes, this is me. This is what you see is what you get here. It's genuine. Don't get dolled up for this, as you can tell. I'm not well polished, as you can tell. I drink, as you can tell. For God's sakes, the show's called Popcorn and Whiskey. Usually I'm eating popcorn while I'm doing this. So I can understand that aspect of things. I'm saying all this because I don't want there to be the perception that if I talk bad about somebody, and it's not directed toward them as an individual. It's the way it was perceived on the show. I do not know them as an individual. I've never met them. If anybody on the show wants to give me a call or wants to send me a message or something, feel free to. Teresa, I'm talking to you. And I'll be talking to you quite a bit. And there's two reasons for it. Probably more, but two reasons for it. And you get into it. I'll get into it here in just a little bit. All right. So those who do not know what this show is about, I could read you the Wikipedia synopsis of it, but basically it's a dating show. They get 20 people, 20 guys, 20 girls, ages anywhere from 22 to 60. They throw them all together. You start mingling with each other. And the way I understand it, and I could be wrong with this, but my perception of it, again, is everyone has to interact with everyone else. So, and this is all heterosexual. Okay. If you're, every guy has to interact with all the 20 females, and every female has to interact with all the 20 guys in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a speed dating thing, whether it's a date type of thing, whether it's a walk in the park type of thing, they have to interact with each other. The concept of the show is they want to see if people can become a couple or become attached, so to speak, without getting into a lot of graphic details here, based on strictly personality, not age. You can ask any questions you want. The way it was presented, you can ask any questions you want to anybody except what your age is. You cannot disclose that. If two people hit it off, they go to what's called a promise room, which threw me off at first. I was like, why do they call it a promise room? Because, okay, let me back up a step. Once you find the person that you're compatible with and they feel they're compatible with you, you commit to each other for the remainder of the show, so to speak. And that's what's called the promise room. The promise room is where you go in there and say, and you give each other a ring. It's not a wedding or anything. It's just say, okay, I'm committing to you for the rest of the show. And the rest of the show basically means the last 2 weeks of the show is they're actually living together in a very nice, from what I can tell, place, a condo, if you will, in Vancouver. Was that Vancouver? Yeah, Vancouver. It was strange at first, but it was Vancouver. So you're actually living with the person. I mean, cohabiting, one bedroom, living with the person. Okay, keep that in mind. Um, oh, Lori, I just started watching the show. They do a lot of editing on all reality shows. With that being said, they can make things look more dramatic than what it really is. Editing is key to any reality show that is on TV. You're right. And Lori, you're right. And as much as I want you to be here and watch this episode, Lori, if you have not seen it, there will be spoilers in this in what I'm talking tonight. Okay. If you don't mind the spoilers, stick around. But if you don't want to hear the spoilers, don't, because there will be spoilers. I'll tell you that right up front. There will be spoilers on this. If you just start watching the show, believe me, well worth it. Also, watch the reunion. Find it on YouTube. Watch the reunion. Well worth it. Okay. Okay. All that being said, most of the couple, well, I don't want to say most of the couples, they focused on 6 couples. They being the show. Right? They focused on 6 couples, with the biggest age gap. There were some folks on the show, and they talked about this during the reunion, and they hit on it briefly during one of the episodes of the show as well, where I'm just going to make up a couple of numbers here, but it was pretty close to this, where a 46-year-old guy and a 45-year-old lady hit it off, or 38 and 37, or 3 or 4 years apart, they hit it off. They weren't focused on that, and they said that during the reunion that at that point they just let them go. Whatever, you're off on your own at that point. You're not going to have the red carpet treatment of going to the next phase where you're living together on us type thing. Okay. When I say on us, I mean the Netflix or the producers or the show is fitting the bill for that, which is something else that comes up. Okay. I'm laughing because there's like 1,000 things going through my head, and I want to talk about them all. One of the things I was going to do, and I don't know if I'll do this or not, because my computer's going a little bit wonky right now, is go through all the people. You know what? I'm gonna try doing this. Okay, and I'm gonna try going through and showing pictures of all the participants, all 20 of them. Okay. But before we do, I want to read this what I wrote to make sure that I'm not missing anything, because I had to throughout the week, because I'm trying to prepare for this show. My show, this show, with Popcorn Whiskey Show, on this, I wanted to make sure I hit on a few things. Hello, Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, Wrestling Unscripted. How you doing, buddy? Okay, so I'm going to read this real quick. I'm basing my opinion and views on the actual show, not any research on the people. Research on the people, participants, backgrounds, anything, just the show itself. So the way the show is edited is a big factor in likability, on the likability of the contestants. I said that already. I don't believe anybody in the show were actors. I do believe everyone on the show has or has had a past, and they are just regular people, just like you and me. So I'm not judging anybody, because once again, I don't know them. I can't judge them. I'm judging the editing style and the way they were portrayed on there. And again, that's not on a negative way. That's just what I say about them. All right. If I come across mean or negative or harsh on somebody, it's not designed to be that way. It was just my perception of them. Just like if somebody watches my show right now, they say, that guy looks like a goofball. He's arrogant. He's full of himself. That's great. That's your perception of me. Okay. It's just that simple. All right. Here. Okay. I did this a couple days ago. I wrote up, as I was going through the show, I kept having thoughts in my brain, and I said, I got to put some of these down, because in the middle of watching the show, I said, I got to do a popcorn and whiskey on this one. This is going to be good. So I wrote down 17 thoughts that I had on the show in no particular order. I'm going to read some of them here. First of all, I was expecting a train wreck type of a show. I was wrong. It was not a train wreck type of a show. At least I didn't think so. And again, I was wrapped up in it in a major way. Again, Teresa, if you're watching, again, she'll never watch this. And if you don't know, you'll find out who Teresa is in a few minutes. A lot of the older chicks on this show were hot. Again, Teresa. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Why do all the young guys have beards? And so most of the younger guys had beards. I didn't understand that one. And maybe it's a trend nowadays. I don't know. And another thing that stood out to me is no fat people. Right? Can't fat people be attractive? I mean, I can stand to lose a few poundage here and there. Am I just not attractive? I don't know if I can fit in that show or not. And then I wanted to know how much did the participants get paid, which I found out later in the reunion because they talked about this. Nobody got paid outside of the two hosts of the show. Nobody got paid, which also led me to believe, well, then who pays for everything? I'm going to assume this, like when the folks went out to eat and things of that sort and the condos that they stayed in, I'm going to assume that the show fit the bill for that. That's my assumption. I'm pretty sure I'm right with that one, but I have no bearing of not authenticity, no bearing of knowledge on that. I don't know how accurate I am with that. Okay. Another thing that later on in the show, I got this. The older chicks weren't afraid to talk about wanting sex and having sex. The younger chicks never even brought it up. Again, it could be the editing thing, but the older chicks, man, a couple of them just wanted to bang, which led me to my next question is how can I get on that show? Some of the guys on the show were too sissy-ish, way too sissy-ish for my liking. I could have been just the same at the mid-20s. Maybe I was when I was mid-20s, late 20s. Maybe I was more on the sissy side of things. And the older I get, the more callous I am at different things. I'm like, you know what? You're being a big sissy about it. They're on the show. I'm not. So take it for what it's worth. Also, because of some of these folks were dressed to the nines. I mean, they were dressed extremely well. Guys and girls, and this is a big thumbs up, attaboy, hat tip to all of them are doing it. So who furnishes their wardrobe? Do they bring their own wardrobe? I mean, they were constantly changing outfits, and at the end when they were leaving, they only had like one bag with them. So where did all the bags come from? Where did all the clothes come from? That was another thing that was going through my mind. All right. Another thing I thought during the second part of the show, second half of the show, if you will, is does everyone have to produce some sort of recent blood test to be on the show? I would assume they do, and I'm not going to get into reasons why. I mean, we're all adults here. Think about it, figure it out yourself, okay? And what is the criteria to pick the contestants? That's what I didn't. That's all. I didn't say that. I would love to find out what the criteria was to pick the contestants. I know what one criteria was: you couldn't be fat. Everyone was skinny as a rail on that show, fit as a fiddle. And why were there people without the how do I phrase what did I say here? Why are there not more people with the same name? For instance, how come there wasn't more than one Chris, more than one Jenny, more than one John, more than one Teresa? Yeah. And then I'm thinking, once they disclosed they were in Vancouver in these condos that they were staying in, why Vancouver of all places? Because right away, that as they were panoraming the city with the cameras, I was like, wow, this is a beautiful place. I mean, I've never seen Vancouver like that. Again, editing had a lot to do with it, I'm sure. and they're always going to film the good spots and the nice spots and the clean spots and things of that sort in any city they go to. Heck, I can do that with my city, and believe me, it's hard to do in my city. And again, yes, this is a knock on you, Clinton. If my fellow Clintonites are watching this, some of you are disgusting with your yards. I just leave it at that. Okay, it's disgusting. But and the more I'm watching this Vancouver, I'm like, that's a beautiful city. Holy moly! I got a good friend, good internet friend who had her birthday today. Karen had a birthday yesterday. Karen, happy birthday, by the way. If you're watching this, I know you live close to Vancouver. If I ever come up to visit you or visit that area, we're going to hook up and have a couple of glasses of wine or dinner or something. You got to take me around the city. It's a beautiful city. If you're watching this, okay. All right. Hey JD, yeah, no problem, buddy. If you want to tune in, that's great. I know you haven't watched this show yet, so those are 15 thoughts, and then the 16th and 17th thoughts were about the people, which I'll get into as I go through this. So what I want to do now is go through all the criteria, not the criteria. I'm going to see if I can list all the people on here, just go through it. I don't know a lot of them because they were just really brief on the show. All right. Where is that? Here it is. They were just extremely brief, so they didn't talk about a whole lot. And the way this is broken up, they have the ages of 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And honestly, I thought there was only one 60-year-old on there, but I could be wrong. So here we go. All right. This is Chloe. She's 26. She was not featured very much on the show at all. Maybe the first episode or two. That was about it. This one, very attractive as well. Elsie, she's 23. She was not featured anywhere. Libby, yes, she was a dominant figure in this show. One of the final 6 contestants, if you will, 6 couples, if you will. She was 23 years old. This one, Lindy, she was not. I don't recall seeing Lindy at all. I'm not saying that she wasn't on the show. I just don't recall seeing her. So she wasn't one of the final 6. Pfeiffer, yeah, she was one of the final 6. She is 23. And these are the chicks, of course. Sophie, don't recall seeing her. I'm sure she was on there. You see the pattern here? All these very thin, very athletic looking. Vanelle, again, very attractive. Young's 27. Fit, skinny. Now I got the dudes. Chris, fit, skinny, beard. This dude, Isaiah, he wasn't part of the final 6. Skinny, fit, beard, 26. John, 27, skinny, fit, beard. Get the pattern here as we're going through this. Logan, 29 years old, skinny, fit, beard. So there you go. All right. Okay, here's one. Tristan, 27 years old, skinny, fit, doesn't have a beard. Honestly, I don't think he got hooked up because he's supposed to get hooked up with a female. I just leave it at that. That's just my opinion on that guy. Okay, now we're getting to the 30-year-olds. Again, skinny, attractive. Ashley, she wasn't part of the final ones. Skinny, fit. Brenda, again, 35, not part of the finals. Catherine, founder of a luxury swimwear brand, skinny, fit, not part of the finals. Andrew, 38, bar owner, skinny, fit, beard. He was part of the finals. Charles, 33. What does he do? IT specialist, skinny, fit, beard. Get the pattern here. Okay, another one here. David Ease, 31, broadcast analyst and MMA fighter. So yeah, he's going to be fit, but skinny, fit, beard. This dude, David G, he's an entrepreneur, skinny, fit, beard again. All right. Justin, 30 years old, skinny, no beard. Well, rough, a scruffy guy. All right, he wasn't part of the finals. Another one, skinny, fit, beard, Sean. And we're still in the 30s. Yeah, we're still in the 30s. West, age 30, skinny, fit, beard. So they all had the same look. Now we're in the 40s. I don't recall seeing this girl on there. Angel, skinny, athletic looking. Okay. Jolene, 48, teacher. I was floored when she said she was 48. She wasn't part of the finals, but they had a nice segment on her in her potential partner. I thought she's a doll, absolute a doll. I was floored when she said she was 48 years old. I did. So she was one of my favorites that didn't make it. Jolene. So again, she's a teacher. Can you imagine having her as a teacher? Wow. I think she said she's like a grade school teacher too, I do believe. Another one, skinny fit, Lauren, 47. Leah, she's a flight attendant. Maybe not as skinny as everybody else, but she had it going on. Very attractive, I thought, as well. It says Vanessa. She was one of the major players in the show. Skinny, fit. She's 49 years old at the time. This is all the times of when the show was being filmed. Okay. I would assume now they're probably a year or two older than this. Probably a year older than this. Vicky, she was not part of the finals, but again, skinny. You get the gist of what I'm talking about here as we're going through the players here, right? This dude, Brian, 48, skinny, fit, beard, scruffy. Derek, very prominent in the finals in this, very clean shaven dude. I have a lot to say about Derek as well. Josh, 46, skinny, fit, beard. Justin, probably not as doesn't appear to be on this picture. Doesn't appear to be as fit as everybody else, but he's skinny with a beard. Okay, we're still in our 40s. This dude, Billy, skinny, fit, beard. Okay, now I think we're going to our 50s. Okay. Erin, 52. She was not part of the finals. Skinny, fit. Michelle, she's 50 years old. Again, thin. She was not part of the finals. I don't know anything much about her. Teresa. I had my eye on Teresa from the first time I saw her. I was like, holy moly. She's probably why I kept watching the show, honestly. Right there, yeah. But again, skinny, fit, stylist. She's from Illinois. This one, Tiffany, I saw her briefly a couple of times. Fantastic smile. Probably the best smile of everybody there. I thought her smile was just radiant, even throughout the show. Not from this picture, but on the show itself. Skinny, fit, beard. This guy, Jacques. He didn't even. I don't even recall seeing him at all. I'm sure he was in there though. You can see he's showing off the biceps a little bit there. Len, skinny, fit. Jorge, skinny, fit. He's 60 years old. So there you go. That was all the couples of the show. Okay, that was all the contestants of the show. Let me come back to my screen here. Excuse me. Gee whiz. So, all right. So that's all the players of the show. I'm not going to show them again. And I don't know if this went into the final couples here at all. The reveal. No, I don't have all the pictures of the couples, and I'm not going to get into it. But I do have people who ended up being together. Okay. And in no special order. Here we go. So here's the spoiler part of the show. If you haven't watched the show yet, you don't want to see spoilers. This is the spoiler part of the show. They revealed this tidbit of information on the reunion show that if you were close in age, you didn't go on. That wasn't what the show was about. They wanted the biggest contrast in ages, the biggest age gap between the two players, so to speak. Okay, between the two contestants. So here we go. And they centered around this couple at the very beginning. And so I don't know if they were actually the first ones or if they were just more camera friendly or more aesthetically pleasing. I don't know what the reason was, but they focused on this couple, John and Teresa. Like I said, keep talking about Teresa. Again, Teresa, if you ever see this, if you ever watch this, I would love for you to come on my show. Yeah, but there's a 27-year difference on this between the two. 27-year difference between the two. And it's fascinating when they go into this promise room and they reveal their ages. This look on everybody's face was priceless. Logan and Vanessa, a 20-year difference. Derek and Pfeiffer, 17-year difference. Andrew and Libby, 16-year difference. And Jorge, remember, Jorge was 60 years old. Vanel, 27. So there's a 33-year difference in the two. And after they reveal this and they want to go on with each other, that's when they live together. So a 60-year-old dude who is fit as a fiddle, you can see from the things, and a 27-year-old chick, again, fit as a fiddle. I just drink to that. Okay. So all that being said, I just got a few things about each couple on here. Let me go through this. Jorge and Vanel. She wanted celibacy. Well, she kept saying celibacy. She made a pact to herself and to her religion and her faith that until she got married, she did not want to have sex. She revealed that at the time. She was upfront, which I commend her for that. I prop her up for that. So I'm glad she said that. And Jorge said he had no issues with that whatsoever. Once they were living together, a couple of times she was on the flirty side. I mean, flirty side. And it came out during the reunion that they did more than flirty. She basically, they just didn't have intercourse. We just leave it at that. They did everything else from what they said at the reunion. And also like something happened in the city where he was protecting her from something going on within the streets, and she didn't seem like she wanted it or something like that. I didn't think they were a good fit from the start, honestly. I think this one to me could have been staged. I don't think it was, but you can give a good, strong debate that this one was staged because the age gap was so far away from each other. You can have a good debate on that one. Again, I don't think it was, but a good lawyer can debate. Even a bad lawyer could debate that one pretty good. All right. Andrew and Libby, 16 years difference. She right away, I'm thinking this one, she's an airhead. The way it was portrayed, editing wise, she was an airhead. Taylor Swift fan. She makes it right away, so you know she was young. Honestly, I thought she was 17, 18 years old at tops. But then later on, they show them with drinking wine and champagne and stuff like that. So they had to be at least 21. At least I was praying she was at least 21. She ended up being 22 years old. He was a bar owner. During like I said, she just seemed extremely dingy and extremely immature. And she was a child. Let's face it, 22 years old, she was a child. When I'm my age, I can say 22-year-olds is a child. Okay, simple as that. During the reunion show, it was a world of difference. I mean, she was extremely mature. I was so impressed with Libby during the reunion show. I mean, very, very not the same Libby that we saw. So editing had a lot to do with it. So Libby, thumbs up right there. Andrew, class act all the way. And I'm going to go through each individual I got one statement for each individual that I'm talking about here. All right. Derek and Pfeiffer, 17 years difference. Nice couple. But there was a lot for her to take in. She was early 20s. He was late 30s, already with 2 or 3 kids. And she's living a single life and things of that sort. So I was shocked when she said she wanted to stay with him at the promise room and also afterwards, which at the reunion show she was not there because they were no longer a couple at the reunion show. That's how quickly everything fell apart and how she went off into another tangent with another relationship, which was revealed during the reunion show. Again, this is not judgmental on her whatsoever. I just didn't think she was all that. Logan and Vanessa, 20 years difference. They got engaged and at the very end of the show, and they were still together at the reunion as an engagement. They were not married yet, but they were still engaged. She also had been engaged 4 previous times. I have some things to say about her coming up. John and Teresa, 27 years difference. Again, this is the one at the beginning stages of the show. They were focused on them. They were focused on this couple. Again, I had my eye on Teresa from the first time I saw her on there. And yeah, Teresa, again, call me. Love to have you on the show, Teresa. Absolutely. In all seriousness, I know you'll never call me for anything besides that, but here's I'll say it now. Once I started talking about this show on Facebook, and I mentioned a couple of times, I actually did a video of these 17 things. Obviously, I got into some sort of algorithm on Age of Attraction, and lo and behold, Teresa's reel started popping up. I couldn't even tell you Teresa's last name. I'm sure if I would have looked more in depth, I could have found it. I didn't, and all of a sudden, some of her reels started popping up, and so, duh, I'm going to follow her, duh, and I did. And she actually revealed on one of the reels that I saw of her that she's happy to go on podcast and talk about her show and everything else. So I would love to have Teresa on the show. So I will be reaching out to her to have her on the Popcorn and Whiskey show. Her and I have, I think, 0 things in common. Absolutely 0 things in common. But again, I think she's extremely attractive. Anyway, and I said this, they were by far the best dressed couple, by far. And she's into fashion and the styling and things of that sort. I think she's going to be a fashion model from what I understand. And I did not hear this from the show. This was some of her reels I was watching. John was just a dude. I mean, he was 27 and she was 54. Okay. They were the couple that everyone thought would hit it off. I mean, at the final thing, they both confessed their love for each other, and he said he fell in love with her, and she said she loved him. Blah blah blah. The thing on the reunion, and I'm going to focus on this couple for a little bit here. The thing on the reunion, and I wrote this down during the reunion show, it seemed like the producers wanted to make John look like the insensitive guy, and he just didn't understand what was going on. I felt really sorry for the guy. John was a class act. And this is nothing against Teresa whatsoever. John was a class act all the way. Yeah, they were no longer together. They said they were together for 6 months after the reunion. I mean, after the show, and they met a few times. But ultimately, her age and the way I understood her, trying to read through the lines here, what he was saying, what she was saying, even though she kept saying she did not want the age gap to be a big deal, it almost was like she was making it a big deal. That's what I got out of it. Again, not a knock on anybody. Of course, anybody in that position, 27-year difference, the age is gonna come into a factor somewhere, shape or form. It's gonna be. Okay, it's just all there is to it. You can't get around it. Okay, you cannot get around it. And during the reunion show, they tried to make it the way it was edited. And I know the reunion show is not supposed to be edited, but I feel it was. Even Vanessa was coming to Teresa's defense, which they were buddies on the show, Teresa and Vanessa. They were buddies on the show, so she kept telling that he was just didn't understand what was going on. He just didn't know how to communicate. Well, I think it went both ways. Being a guy, of course, I'm going to take his side a little bit. Jorge came to his defense, and so did I. Came to John's defense, and so did I. I don't think it was all John. The breakup, apparently it was a nasty breakup too, but now they're cordial from what I understand. See, and this is the thing for all you chicks. I had this before in a relationship as well. If you want us guys to react to you in a certain way, tell us what that way is. Because if we don't know and we react our own way, don't get mad at us for not reacting the way you want us to react. It's just that simple. You know, if you want us to follow a script, fine. Tell us what the script is. We're not going to react the way you want us to react. And that was the one thing that came out during the reunion show. She wanted him to react a certain way, and he didn't. And all of a sudden, he's the bad guy. No, that's why he's coming to his defense on this one. Let's see. And it seemed like she was all about the, and I wrote this down. It seemed like she was all about the drama, and he was looking for solutions, which is a guy-girl type of thing. I can relate. I've been in that position before. I didn't want drama. I wanted solutions. I was like, we're going to figure this out or not. Forget the drama. And she and this is what, Teresa, love you. I want you on my show, but this is a guy versus girl thing here, not a Teresa and John or Teresa Andrew or John or whatever. This is a guy girl thing. Guys are not going to text back right away. All right. And Teresa, at the time you're 54 years old, 55 years old. You were upset because somebody didn't text back right away. I'm sorry. You know, you get somebody like me, don't expect me to text back right away. I ain't going to do it. Maybe a 27-year-old, maybe you're expecting it. And again, maybe up until then, all the time you guys text, boom, 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 it was back and forth. Don't know. Yeah, exactly. Headlocks and heels. Can't read lines with someone if I don't know the lines. Exactly. Yeah. But it seems like if he didn't text back right away, she got pissed at him. All right. But I got to tell you what, John, if you're watching this, my friend, you're welcome. And anybody I'm talking about is welcome on my podcast. Come on here. My goal is not to give you gotcha questions or make you look bad. I'm going to ask you questions about the show. If you want to answer them, great. If you don't, great. That's fine. I'm not going to press. I'm not going to put you in a position where you're the bad guy and I'm the good guy, or vice versa. Just ask questions about the show. Let's be honest, be real, have fun, have a drink. I'll be drinking. I promise you I'll be drinking during this, but it'll be a fun show if I can get them on here. Okay. So again, that was a couple that was focused on at the beginning of the show. They were focused on that couple right away. Teresa did something which I have to applaud her for this one. She did not reveal. Okay, let me back up a second here. While they were living together, a bomb was dropped on everybody, as far as a plot twist, if you will. A bomb was dropped on everybody where they had a gathering. Everybody got together and champagne and drinks and dinner and stuff like that one night. And the two hosts come in. Now, the two hosts were 16 years apart. They were married 16 years apart. That's why they were the host. Who they are, I don't know. I don't know if they were just meant for the show, if they're a regular host of other shows. I don't know, but they were the host. But they dropped the bombshell, said tomorrow, they're telling the people, tomorrow you're going to have family members come and meet y'all. Teresa flipped out. Teresa utterly flipped out because she was not ready to meet her family or present her family to her live-in boyfriend, lack of a better term. John, cool as a cucumber. Again, all right, I'll introduce you, no problem. Type thing. Now, so again, I'm focusing on John and Teresa here because that's the main focus. John's mom was just eyeballing Teresa the whole time. Like, who are you? You're an old broad. Why are you coming after my young son? Type thing, which any mother would have done. Absolutely, any mother would have done. Not a problem there. When Teresa's kids came, she did not reveal the age of John to her kids at all. And at first I was saying, well, why not? But then I realized why. And this is before she actually said it in the reunion show, which I'm 100% behind her on this one. Now, some of the other guys and girls who had children, especially younger children, especially some of the guys who had 5, 6, 7-year-olds, the daughters and stuff of that sort of children, they did not want to introduce their kids to their mate, so to speak, their live-in, their partner on the show, because they didn't want anybody to be attached or get attached or put them in a position where, they thought something ill of the person or better of the person or whatever. They're trying to protect their family. I get it. That was the same reasoning Teresa didn't want to tell the age, which I completely agree with. And I'm not saying it as eloquently as she did and some other people said on the show. Even John was saying this. I 100% back Teresa on this one. The reason she didn't want to reveal the age is she wanted their kids to get to know John the way she got to know him before he revealed his age. And it came out later on that the kids didn't know John's age even after they broke up until the show aired. Go figure. The show didn't air like 6, 7, 8 months after everything was completed. So the kids didn't even know until the show aired. That's how secretive they were, if you want to call it secretive. But I understand that. And so I have no problem with her doing that. Matter of fact, I applaud her for doing that. And her and Vanessa got into it a little bit at one of the dinners that they had about why she didn't and things of that sort. Now, on the flip side, Jorge did not tell Vanelle that he had kids. He said, I didn't think it was relevant, or however he phrased it, which I didn't think was right. I think she needed to know he had kids before they got hooked up in the potential relationship thing. And that was just not going to last from the beginning. Anybody with any kind of common sense knew that one wasn't not going to last. And it didn't. It didn't even go the full 2 weeks of them living together. So there's not much I'm going to say about that couple as a couple. I'll say something about the individuals in a second. Who is this? Just wrote on here. Worldling penalty something on Twitch. Hey, thanks for watching. I have no idea what your name is, and no, I'm not going to talk about your website you're promoting. So go scam somebody else. Okay, Derek and Pfeiffer. Again, he had kids. She's coming from living the single life in Seattle, and he lived in Dallas. She was going to move down to Dallas. That was just not going to happen. I saw right through that one. That wasn't going to happen. And she was the one who wasn't at the reunion show. And it's not a knock on her. She had other commitments and she was not going to be around for the reunion show, unfortunately. But they weren't together anyway. And Derek, I'll say this, was to me the classiest guy on the whole show. Class act, Derek, all the way, with his kids, the way he interacted with Pfeiffer's mother and father who showed up, who were divorced, from what I understand, and she couldn't believe they were together when they showed up. Derek was nothing but a class act all the way. So, Derek, if you're watching this or if you ever hear this, thumbs up, buddy. Class act. That's how a guy or a gentleman should interact with anybody, regardless of age, race, orientation, whatever. The way he portrayed himself was nothing but class all the way. Loved it, Derek. top notch on my book, my friend. Logan and Vanessa. This one is Vanessa. Just you again. I don't want to talk bad about her, but everyone's experienced this in your life, and it's always not. And most people, it's not the same person. But there's somebody in your life, in your past, that you've seen somewhere, that when they talk, that when they interact, it's just like fingernails on a chalkboard. That's how Vanessa was with me. Not at first, but every other sentence she said. And if Lori, if you're still watching this, see if you pick this up or not. Like every other sentence will, like she said, like, you know, like this. It's like, it was like this. It's like this. She said like every other word in every sentence. It was so annoying to me. And later on, unfortunately, Teresa started doing it as well. But it was so annoying to me. That's where the fingernails on the chalkboard came into play. Okay. Okay. So there's that. All right. Let me get through some of the sentences or the phrases I wrote about each contestant, or the final contestants. I need a drink for this one. Okay. Let me talk about the 6 ladies first. Teresa, hot as hell. Teresa, you're just hot. I've said this and I'll keep saying this. I want you on my show. I would love to meet you. Again, we got nothing in common as far as the romantic way it goes. And so I'm not asking in that aspect. Okay. Would I love it to happen? Absolutely. But it's never going to. All right. She's more on the artsy, that mindset. I'm not. She travels to New York all the time. I can care less if I ever go to New York, honestly, type thing. So would I love to meet her? Absolutely. Do I see any kind of potential thing with it? No, I don't. So, but you were hot as hell, Teresa. Libby, the 22-year-old, again, ditzy. Was ditzy what I thought, but the reunion completely changed my mind from her. Had a body and a half on her. Holy crikey, they showed her in a bikini. Wow. Yeah. Yes, I'm being vain on this one. I'm being a guy. Unbelievable. Leah, way too bossy for me. Way too bossy for me. Sorry, it just was. Pfeiffer, I didn't think she had any depth whatsoever to her. Derek, I'm sorry you got hooked up with that one. Unfortunately, Derek, again, class act Derek. Pfeiffer had no depth to her. Vanelle seems so indecisive about everything. I didn't care for Vanelle at all. She was the one hooked up with Jorge. I didn't care for her at all. Vanessa, the chalkboard, chalkboard. She, to me, was stuck on herself. She didn't want to be the third wheel going with her sisters anymore because they had families. She didn't want this. She needed this. She wanted this. It was all about her. Her. How they got engaged is beyond me, and how they stayed together is beyond me. Obviously, there's something else there that I wasn't seeing, and the producers weren't showing about Vanessa. It just wasn't. Okay? Those were the 6 chicks. The 6 broads, by the chance. Yeah. You're being a male chauvinist. Yeah, so what? So I liked being a male. Okay, sorry. Okay, 6 guys. Here we go. Jorge, the 60-year-old, a little bit too philosophical for me. I mean, when you ask him, "Oh, how you doing today?" He'd go on to a long tirade, being Mr. Philosopher, a little bit stuck on himself. Dude, back off a little bit. Yeah, I understand guys were coming to him for advice, and a lot of them said that as well. I get it. Being the old dude on the set, people are going to come to you for advice. Dude, we're roughly the same age. Okay. So I can talk about that. Not a problem there. Okay. Andrew, he was the one going out with Libby. I do believe. Yeah, down to earth guy. He's the bar owner. Down to earth guy. I mean, solid. Down to earth. Another guy, Derek. I told you, the coolest dude in the room, and probably the most likable character on the show, at least to me, by far. Derek, class act all the way. I can't speak highly of Derek. Yes, it seems like I have a man crush on Derek, but he's a guy's guy, a gentleman, classy, articulate, well mannered, well groomed, well presented very well. I like the character, very likable character. Derek. Chris, too much of a little child. I forgot who Chris was hooked up with now. Let me go back and look here. See, Chris and Leah. Yeah, she was the flight attendant, I do believe. Yeah, he was too much of a little pansy and a little sissy child. I didn't care for him. John was hooked up with Teresa. Class act all the way he presented himself. He looked like Prince Harry. He could have passed for mid-30s, late 30s, no problem. That's why everybody was shocked when he revealed he was 27. Again, class act all the way. No problem with the man whatsoever. Logan seemed like he could be pushed around by everybody. And I didn't care for Logan at all. He just was too blah. And I forget which one is going on to another reality series. It's like they announced it during the reunion show. But of the guys, Andrew was great. Derek was great. John was great. Of the ladies, I say Teresa. Yeah, I got it for Teresa. Libby completely changed my mind during the reunion show. Completely changed my mind. I picked her for being the Dutzy of the Dutzy of the Dutches, Ditzy of the Ditziets, whatever. But she completely changed my mind during the reunion show. And so I actually think the reunion show is more than being them true selves, the way she presented herself. Libby, good job. Leah, too bossy. Pfeiffer, like I said, I didn't think she had any depth. She could have redeemed herself during a reality show, but she wasn't on it. Vanelle, too indecisive. She was with Jorge again. Didn't see it. That was a train wreck waiting to happen. You just saw that one. At least I did from a mile away. How can you not tell that he was an old man? That's another thing. When they revealed their ages, people are saying, what? I can't believe that. The only shocker to me, age-wise, was John. Again, I thought he was in his 30s, mid-30s. Everybody did. But he was 27. Everybody else, Teresa, yeah, you look like you're in your 50s. Sorry, but you did. Hot as hell, but you look like you're in your 50s on the show. Vanessa looked like you were in your 50s. Pfeiffer and Libby, obviously early 20s. Libby, I thought you was 18. Leah and Vanelle. Vanelle was early, late 20s. Really couldn't tell. Leah, when she revealed, I think she was 41, 42 when that was revealed. I'm thinking, yeah, she looks like she's 41, 42. I thought that all along, but people were saying, no, she thought it was early 30s. Okay. Jorge, yeah, I guess he was 58, 59. He was 60. I guess that right away. Andrew, upper 30s, no problem. Derek, fooled me. I guess mid-30s, he was like 42. Yeah, and fooled me. Chris, 20s. You can tell by his actions and his attitude. John, again, looked and acted a lot older. Logan, 20s, you can tell. So how people were shocked at this is beyond me. And I don't say I'm good with ages at all, because I'm not. But on this one, I thought it was pretty obvious. So, okay. Holy crap. I've been on here for an hour doing this. Can you believe that? I didn't realize I can go for an hour talking about this show. I got to get on the show. I'm telling you what, I've already looked into it, and they have a questionnaire page. It must be 20, 30 questions long you have to fill out. Am I going to fill it out? You betcha. I got to try this just to see it. I don't fit the profile at all for anything. I'm not skinny. I'm fit. I give you that much. I'm just not skinny fit. I'm on the upper end of the age bracket for the people they take for the show. I'm probably more for the Golden Bachelor, which is another cool show. I saw that. Yes, I watched that one. I watched that one with my mom. This dude is banging all the chicks on there. I was like, you know what? That's enough to be on that show right there. Yeah. Sorry if I'm being so brash or whatever, but hey, that's part of the beast. You're listening to this for my charming personality, and I'm giving it to you. There you go. Okay. But yeah, I will reach out to Teresa. In fact, I reached out to several of these just to see if they want to come on my Popcorn and Whiskey show, and go from there. Okay. I'm going to stop it here. It's getting late Thursday night, early mornings tomorrow. We'll leave it there. Whoop. Thank you for being here, everybody. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see if I can chop this up. Again, if Teresa, if you're watching this, call me. All right. My name is Andrew, Popcorn and Whiskey. I am the face who runs the place. I'll stop it here. So until next time, ciao.